once again, everyone. I am Todd the Mod, and welcome to my music channel. For those of you who are returning, thank you so much for tuning in. And for anybody who happens to be new, hey, thank you for watching. Hopefully you like this video. It's VinylTag 2025. Usually this is done by Rob Walker, but this year it's done by Pretty Green Vinyl Guy. It's a channel I just discovered through Embryonic Robot, watching his channel. And he's doing the VinylTag 2025. I have a list of questions here. So that's what we're going to be doing today. Was going to do some other videos. I have some ideas I've been wanting to do. I've been wanting to share, like, for instance, what I got from Zia's over the last few months that I've been absent. I did the in-groove already, but I also want to do the vintage brass armadillo shop that I go to as well. And I got some other ideas too, but every time I want to do an idea, something happens. So last week it was Record Store Day, Black Friday edition, and this week it's VinylTag 2025. So that's what I'm going to do this week. And if I'm up for it, I'll do a second video, but let's be realistic, I'm probably not going to. Anyway, shall we dive into it? I think we shall. All right, so first question is, best purchase of 2025, new or old? 2024, excuse me. I'm jumping ahead. Best purchase of 2024, new or old? Wow, I bought a lot of crap this year. I haven't got to show you all the stuff I bought this year because I've been absent for a while. I bought this when I ordered it from the In-Groove, which is my favorite record store here in Phoenix. And I was still in rehabilitation hospital for my stroke, but I was still ordering vinyl. And that is the Jam Snap. I have my original copy from the 80s still, but I wanted a more, it's getting kind of, well, it's not beat up, but it's old. So I wanted to replace it. And I got this one, which is really cool. It comes with a 7-inch a live 7-inch record. I just love this band. I love the Jam. This is where I got Todd the Mod from, because I was a mod back in the day. And yeah, I mean, it's basically the greatest hits of the Jam. I have their stuff on. I have a box set of them, but this is my favorite purchase of this year. I just absolutely love this album. Still play it. Man, so many good songs. The Bitterest Pill I Ever Had to Swallow, Town Called Malice, Going Underground, That's Entertainment, Man in the Corner Shop, I mean, In the City, English Rose. It goes on and on. There's not a bad track off this album, so I still love this album. And now I have my original, and I have the reissue with the cool live 7-inch. Second question, 50 years later, best album from 1974. Well, and looking, I dig through my collection. And it's funny, I don't have anything from 1974. Like, I don't have one album from that year. I was 4 years old, so not to say that you can't go back and collect something from 1974, but I don't own anything. And I actually had to research on Google what albums came out in 1974, and there was some good stuff that I probably need to get in my collection. So now I'm actually writing a list of stuff I need from 1974. So sorry, but I can't answer that question. So we'll go on to number 3. An album that defines a genre. Let's go to the 80s. I'm an 80s kid. I'm an 80s child. I would say this album right here, The Police, Synchronicity. I mean, this spent, well, I think it was 8 or 12 weeks at number 1. It beat out Michael Jackson's Thriller, where it kept Thriller at bay for a while. Every Breath You Take was a number 1 hit song. This whole album from start to finish, except for one song, and I say that I've said this in past videos, the song Mother, that this whole album is just wonderful. And Keen of Pain, Synchronicity 2, Tea in the Sahara, Wrapped Around Your Finger. I mean, Keen of Pain is my favorite song. Probably my favorite Police song ever, but I think this kind of defines the at least the early 80s, so there you go. That's my vote, at least. Number 4, best band from your home country. I've always felt I was born in the wrong country, because what I want to say, I can't, because I wasn't born in England, but being born here in America, in the States, there is a band to me that is just equally as important as that, and that would be Toad, the Wet Sprocket. One of my the Smiths and the Wet Sprocket are up there for me as #1 bands, my top choice. So this is the box set, which I'm really happy about. I got years ago. But yeah, I would say this is my favorite band from our home country. I'd say that's how I'm interpreting this best. It's going to be like my favorite. Like, I can't say this is the best band in America, because I'm sure a lot of you would disagree and have your own opinion. So my favorite band from the United States is, from my home country, is Toad Wet Sprocket. There you go. All right. An artist you miss dearly. Question number 5. An artist you miss dearly. It's kind of cliche-ish, but I'm going to say it anyway because it's John Lennon. Who knows if the tragic events of December 8th of 1980 didn't happen, what this man would have done. You know, he's done so much musically. And what I'm trying to say is, I can only imagine what music would be like if he was still around. You know, it's John Lennon. You can't go wrong. But yeah, miss him dearly. Yeah, not much to say about John Lennon, except for he was just a genius and, you know, very important to musical history, obviously. So, number 6, best live album in your collection. Easy. I have a lot of live albums. But first, one would think it'd be the Smiths' Rank, but it's not. In fact, I have a copy of that and it's unopened. I haven't heard it in a long time. Going off the trail as I usually do, my favorite live album in my collection would be Depeche Mode 101. Reason being because I was there. I was at this concert. It was at the Rose Bowl. I'm sure if there's any Depeche Mode fans watching, you were probably there too. This was back in 1988. What a wonderful concert this was. So it was The Wire opened up, Thomas Dolby, and then OMD, and then Depeche Mode. I'm going to be honest. I mean, I love Depeche Mode. I really do. Love them. But I was actually there to see OMD because I never saw OMD live. And I was glad I did because, I mean, I know now OMD has gotten back together and they still toured, but back then that was their last concert until they reformed, until they got back together. But yeah, Depeche Mode was awesome, of course. And this is a wonderful live album. Still listen to it to this day. Yeah, I actually had this poster on my wall. And I think I paid $10 for it, which is a price. I don't know if you can see it here, but $10. Yeah, I actually had that t-shirt, I had the poster, and I had an OMD t-shirt too. So yeah, wish I still had it. I don't know where it went to, but you know, I was back in high school. So Depeche Mode, best live album I have in my collection. Number 7, your partner just dumped you. What album are you putting on? That's easy. Till Tuesdays, Everything's Different Now. This was their 3rd and final album. I'm not going to go too much into it because one of the videos I want to do is kind of like a Till Tuesday thing, because this is definitely one of my favorite bands, top 10 bands. But this album from start to finish is nothing but breakup songs. So it's an awesome album to put on if you've been dumped. I haven't been dumped in a long time because I've been happily married for a long time. So that being said, yeah, that's the album to listen to when you get dumped. Number 8, best sounding drums on an album. I have 2. All right. And they're both by the same group. And, you know, this was hard because there are so many albums that have some great drums, recorded drums on them. But my picks are XTC Non-Such, which was their last album on a major label. And especially the song, The Disappointed. If you ever can hear that, I mean, I know you can hear it on Spotify and iTunes, that kind of stuff, but when you hear the drum intro on that, the drums sound huge. And the whole album is just, you know, wonderful drumming. I forgot the drummer's name they used in the studio. Man, I forgot his name. I'm drawing a blank. But wonderful drummer and huge drums on it. Same could be the same with XTC's Black Sea. This was Hugh Padgham, and they recorded this at, oh gosh, what was his name? Richard, I'm drawing a blank again. His studio, I forgot what it was called. But huge drum sounding on this record. So yeah, XTC non-such. Probably I aim a little more to non-such as far as drum sound is concerned. So yeah, there you go. Number 9, favorite artist who is a member of 2 or more bands. I was going to go with Neil Finn, because Neil Finn has been obviously a solo artist, but he was in Split Enz and Crowded House. But as much as I love Neil Finn, I love this guy even more. And I wasn't going to pick it either because Embryonic Robot picked it first. So, but Johnny Marr he's been with obviously the Smiths. He's a successful solo artist, does some wonderful solo records. But he's been in Modest Mouse. He was in the Pretenders for a stint, Electronic. He had his own Johnny Marr and the Healers. So yeah, I mean, this is a wonder. This is the best of right here of his solo work. But yeah, Johnny Marr, hands down, my favorite artist of someone who's been in two or more bands. So Beatles or Stones? No, this was a no-brainer. Beatles. Nothing against people who like the Rolling Stones. I get the talent. I understand why people might like them. I just never got into them. I was more of a Beatles person. I just, I grew up on the Beatles. I love the Beatles. I wish this was my original pressing of this album. I used to have one, but kind of got rid of it. I sold it because, it was a time in my life where recession hit, and it was either put food on the table or have an awesome record collection. So anyway, Beatles, hands down. I'm a huge Beatles fan. I don't actually own any Rolling Stones. I'm just not a huge fan. I'm sorry. I know I sound like the Antichrist when I say that, but it's true. Anyway, Beatles, Sgt. Pepper's right there. I'm a Beatles fan. 11, you found a bag of weed. What are you going to listen to? I'm going to say this. I'm not against anybody who does that, who smokes weed. I certainly wasn't, I did that back in my younger year. I'm not in any position to judge anyone's life. What you do is cool, and, hey, no big deal. But I personally don't do that. I don't know. I just don't need that to enhance music for me. So I guess that's what the question's asking is like, if you have a bag of weed, what are you going to listen to? I assume to enhance the music. I don't know. Anyway, I don't really have an answer for that one. So I'm going to skip that question. Number 12, an album from the 1980s you still listen to. There are a lot of them. I still listen to a lot of 80s records. But first and probably the one I listen to the most, honestly, is The Queen is Dead, The Smiths. I mean, this was the Smiths' Sgt. Pepper's, basically, and to me, defines them. I mean, this was one of the greatest albums of the 80s, I think. So, Queen is Dead. Listen to it all the time still. Let's see here. And number 13, an artist whose political stance has soured you. I got stuck on that one. Again, whatever their political views are, or whatever they've come out and said, or whatever, to me, it doesn't affect what I think of their music. I'm still gonna love their albums, even if I disagree with them politically or whatever. So I couldn't think of anything. So again, I'm gonna skip that one, but I'm sorry. So we'll go on to number 14. 14 is show a favorite record label. Hands down, the Smiths were on this record label. The Pretenders are on this record label. There's a lot of Madonna was even on this record label. A lot of groups they signed, especially back in the 80s, but it's Sire Records. This is my copy of B-Movie's Nowhere Girl, but Sire Records. They even put one-hit wonders on their label, which is B-Movie. They had great albums, great groups like the Ocean Blue on Sire Records. So many bands on Sire Records. So it's my favorite label, hands down. Number 15, a run of 3 great singles, I assume off of one album. I'm going to say Fear by Total White Sprocket. This is the album that kind of got them on the map. They had 2 albums prior to that, Bread and Circus and Pale. But this is the one that really got them well known. All I Want, Walk on the Ocean, and then another one called Is It For Me, and Hold Her Down. Actually, 4, Hold Her Down. So it's actually quite 4. And actually, they released The last track off here, I will not take these things for granted, which would be 5. So they had a very successful, a lot of singles off this album. So there you go. Number 16, a record store day purchase that you actually consistently listen to. I know it's very new because I only got it last week for record store day, but it has to be Ultravox Lament. Got this last week at record store day. Didn't really know much of Steven Wilson, but it's a stereo mix that he did. And I put it on after I made my last video and blown away. This sounds amazing. If you can find a copy of it and you're an Ultravox fan, I highly suggest you pick this up. I can't stop listening to this album. It is just, I forgot how good this album is because I used to have this back in the 80s. And especially with the new mixes on it, it just sounds wonderful. The instrumental versions sound great too. I mean, pick it up. So number 17, you can be reincarnated. You can be reincarnated as any artist, dead or alive. Who's it going to be? Johnny Marr, baby. I would love to be him because he, Johnny Marr, the way he played guitar in the Smiths, nobody was playing guitar that way. He kind of reinvented how to play guitar. I mean, he took chords and made them more open and did this great picking patterns to them and just had that Rickenbacker jangly sound. And just, I love guitar players when they take their instrument, or anybody who takes an instrument and reinvents how to play it. And Johnny Marr was definitely up there. So, yeah, favorite guitar player, and yeah, I'd be him. All right, best 3 lines in a song. There's a group you may or may not heard of. They're called the Trash Can Sinatras, and from the song, actually the opening song of this album, the album's called Cake. The song's called Obscurity Knocks, and the lyrics are 3 great lyrics. Let me put the song in context. It's about basically the record industry and trying to, make it in music and getting told that you're not good enough, basically. So the first 3 lines are, I ought to be learning, but I feel like a veteran of, oh, I like your poetry, but I hate your poems. The calendar's cluttered with days that are numbered. So basically what he's saying is like time's ticking, we need to get signed before we get too old kind of thing. So I just love that lyric. The calendar's cluttered with days that are numbered. That's pretty clever. Very clever lyrics. So if you never heard of Trash Can Sinatras, check them out, especially their debut album, Cake. Wonderful album. All right. Number 19, an album you never tire of. There's a lot of albums I never get tired of. In fact, I just shown a few of them. Trash Can Sinatras, Soloist Rocket, Till Tuesday. But so I don't repeat, I'm going to go with another group that you may or may not have heard of. They only lasted 2 albums, sadly. From the Bay Area, San Francisco. Came out in 1990, but this album, their debut album, Jellyfish Belly Button, never tire of this album. From start to finish, this is a masterpiece. It's a wonderful, wonderful recorded and album, and just the songwriting is remarkable. And so never get tired of hearing this song. The Keena's Half Undressed, Baby's Coming Back, I Want to Stay Home. The opening track, The Man I Used to Be, is wonderful. Not a bad song off this album. I love when albums are like that, where it's just from start to finish, it's beautiful, right? All right, that was number 19. Albums I never get tired of. Number 20, share your favorite VC channel. Well, I mentioned Steve Carlson a lot, and I'm going to put his link down there because I love Steve Carlson. His channel is wonderful. He just talks. I've said this many times before. It's like talking to a friend over having a cup of coffee, and he introduces me to some music I've never heard of. A lot of the stuff he finds or he buys, I've not heard of this group. Like this group called Luna is one of his favorite groups. I actually didn't know this band until Steve, and end up liking them. I still have yet to find their stuff on vinyl in the record store. I'm sure I could probably order it. But I'm also going to give 2. Okay, I'm going to give 2 because this is how I am. Embryonic Robot. I'm new to his channel. He is from Canada, just joking. From the Great White North, but I'm joining his content too. Watching his channel is very educational as far as learning about other music that I don't know. So There you go. VinylTag 2025. What's your answers to these questions? Do you have a channel that you're doing this to? I'd love to see it. If you like this video, of course, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please do. And until next week, we will keep playing the music. So there we go. Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful week. Be good to each other. Talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.